Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Kristen Lindgren, and welcome to my podcast where we discuss topics that are of interest to you. Today, we are discussing the GLP-1 agonists, the Ozempics and Wegovy's of the world. If that sounds like something interesting to you, then grab a pair of headphones and let's go. The Ozempic weight loss revolution. It's early 2000s. A lot is going on. Changes in global politics, technology, and culture are everywhere. Reality TV is gripping the nation. The dot-com bubble is bursting, and Google is making its quiet rise. The first SARS pandemic is on its way out after taking the lives of, any guesses? 774 people globally, as the Human Genome Project is cracking the code of life. Obviously to some, but in the shadows for most, massive changes in healthcare are happening as well. Under the surface of this digital revolution, something else is brewing, something darker. American lives back then were different. Kids played outside until dark with nothing but bikes and baseball bats. There were no smartphones, no iPads. Kids ate dirt and used something called soap when they came inside. Occasionally. What was hand sanitizer? Families sat down together for dinner. They ate real food made by a real person. At the turn of the century, the state of affairs as it pertained to the health of our country was simple. Yet, in the shadows of all these seemingly wholesome moments, another revolution was starting, one that would change the landscape of our health forever. Enter the 21st century. My, how things have changed. There was no one pivotal moment. There were several. Blue lights, EMFs, screens everywhere, a sterilized living environment, heightened global stress, and then came the icing on the cake. The rise and boom of ultra-processed foods. We work too much. We spend too much time inside, at a desk, like this one, in front of a computer, hella stressed, moving only to spend some obligatory time with our kids, grab some plastic-wrapped garbage from a vending machine or a gas station, and then, well, back to work. And now, 2 decades in, the outcome is clear. America is sicker than ever. Obesity has skyrocketed. Chronic diseases from heart disease to cancer are claiming more lives today than ever. But there's a new enemy underlying all of these conditions, a silent predator that many of us aren't even aware of. It's not aliens, not global conflict, not even a viral pandemic. Its name? Metabolic syndrome. Despite the plethora of new technologies and new drugs, Americans are sicker and fatter now than ever before in recorded history. In the past several decades, we've seen obesity rates in America skyrocket. At the root of this overt problem is metabolic syndrome, a much more insidious one. A cluster of conditions including high blood sugar, elevated blood pressure, abnormal cholesterol levels, and excess body fat around the midsection. Metabolic syndrome doesn't necessarily sound dangerous, but it's the perfect storm for disaster, driving chronic diseases at rates unseen in human history. And despite the warnings, most Americans are woefully unaware they're walking around with this ticking time bomb inside of them. This isn't hyperbole. Look at our grocery stores. Shelves stacked with ultra-processed, sugar-laden, chemically preserved concoctions barely resembling food. They're cheap, addictive, and they've infiltrated our lives in a way that feels inescapable. You can choose not to smoke. You can choose not to drink. But eating? You gotta eat. And right there is the problem, my friends. It's our food, and it's poison. Don't believe me? Let history be the judge. We've been fed a bill of lies for decades. Cholesterol causes heart disease. Fat makes you fat. It's more important to work than to play. There's a pill for every ill. And well, here we are. Despite having more resources in this country than any other country on planet Earth, chronic disease is at an all-time high. Everything from cancer to heart disease, infertility, low sperm counts, depression, anxiety, insomnia, neurologic disease, autoimmunity, gastrointestinal disorders, and obesity. If chronic disease was an award, America would take the gold, followed not too far behind by our wealthy neighbors to the north and eastward across the Atlantic pond. In a society monetized by vanity, obesity has become the easy target. Being overweight has become an advertisement for she put the cookies in, she can run the cookies off. A simple calories in, calories out solution for an issue far bigger than that. Obesity isn't a clear calories in, calories out problem. Unless you're watching My 600-Pound Life, you'd be amazed at the discrepancy in the actual calories consumed by our obese fellow Americans. The difference between those of a healthy weighted person and those who are not is almost 100% related to what is in the calories they are consuming and not the number of them. Healthy calories send one signal to the body. Poisonous ones send another. Being overweight is obvious. Everyone can see it. So it has become the en vogue health crisis of our time. The real issue, however, isn't simply a person's weight, although that poses problems of its own. It's their metabolic health. Metabolic status is harder to quantify by simply judging someone next to you on the sidewalk, but weight is the yardstick most people use. As we confront the grip of metabolic syndrome and its consequences, the big question remains, what's the solution? Enter the radioactive topic of our story today, the GLP-1 agonists. These are medications you have no doubt come to know as Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, Zepbound, semaglutide, and tirzepatide. These drugs have become our latest weapons in the battle against obesity. But are they truly the silver bullets they claim to be? Or are they nothing more than a band-aid masking a deeper, more insidious problem? There's nothing but controversy around these latest and greatest tools in the battle against obesity. There's lots to discuss when it comes to these pricey little once-weekly injections. So, without further ado, let's get into it. GLP-1s, what are they really? The GLP-1s are a class of medications that have gained massive popularity in the past several years as the first real medical miracle easy button for weight loss. But how do they really work? And are they the holy grail to bikini-ready bodies many claim they are, or just another quick fix in the fight against the obesity epidemic? There's a lot to discuss as it pertains to the history of these drugs, their benefits beyond weight loss, potential risks, and what truly underlies sustainable weight loss and metabolic stability. If true health can come from a simple once-weekly injection, well, then this is everyone's lucky day. How do GLP-1s work? GLP-1 agonists have been around a long time. Byetta, not Ozempic, was the first medication in this class. It was approved by the Food and Drug Administration in April of 2005 for the treatment of a condition called type 2 diabetes, not obesity. These medications work by mimicking a naturally occurring hormone in the gut called glucagon-like peptide 1, or GLP-1, a hormone that regulates blood sugar levels and appetite. This complicated hormone actually has many targets. GLP-1s stimulate the pancreas to release insulin in response to meals. They delay gastric emptying and in turn make folks feel fuller for longer. While initially designed to manage blood sugar, doctors soon noticed that these medications had another side effect. Patients using them were losing weight, a lot of weight, and the rest is history. It wasn't long before the side effect became the main event. As more and more people shed pounds on GLP-1 agonists, they were no longer seen as just drugs for diabetics, but as the holy grail of weight loss medications. A once-weekly injection could melt pounds off with minimal effort. It sounded too good to be true, but was it? The benefits of GLP-1s, more than just weight loss. If you know me, you know I am by nature a pharma skeptic. But GLP-1 wasn't concocted by Novo Nordisk. It's a hormone made by your gut. On the surface, giving a person more of something their body makes anyway in an effort to leverage the system seems smart, not sinister. One of the most fascinating things about GLP-1 agonists is that their benefits go far beyond weight loss. They have demonstrated that they truly improve overall metabolic health, something far more important than the number on a scale. Let's break this down. Improved blood sugar control. GLP-1s help increase insulin production initially, but as the body's insulin sensitivity improves, overall insulin levels start to decrease. This results in lower blood sugar levels, a key goal for anyone with diabetes or pre-diabetes. Better cardiovascular health. Studies have shown that GLP-1 agonists can reduce the risk of cardiovascular events like heart attacks and stroke, often independent of weight loss or blood sugar levels. This is a huge win in the fight against metabolic syndrome. Fewer metabolic risk factors. These drugs have been shown to lower both blood pressure and improve lipid parameters, such as triglycerides and HDL levels, further reducing heart disease risk. Addictions and cravings. For some, the food noise disappears. GLP-1s seem to quiet the constant nagging cravings for sugar, junk food, and even alcohol and nicotine. It's as if a switch gets flipped, turning down the volume on unhealthy habits. It's tempting to think that we found the silver bullet for obesity and metabolic disease, but before we get too excited, we need to look at the potentially darker side of this metabolic mystery. The risks of GLP-1s. Uncharted territory. Remember, we're not using actual GLP-1 here. We're using something made by pharma to look like a naturally occurring hormone. Like any drug, GLP-1 agonists aren't without side effects. Because GLP-1 is made in the gut, it's not surprising that most commonly encountered side effects occur here: nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, constipation, and a profound loss of appetite. Gallbladder issues have been reported, as has pancreatitis. An increased risk for a rare form of thyroid cancer called medullary thyroid cancer was reported with an earlier rendition of Ozempic called Victoza. This was a finding discovered in rats, not in humans, and with Victoza, not Ozempic. But because the GLP-1s all work similarly, the precaution remains in place. The known side effects are mostly annoying ones and dose-related. If 5 milligrams of Ozempic makes you too nauseous, 2.5 might be a better dose. The larger concern should be over their unknown long-term safety, as well as issues that are just now coming to the forefront. And those are dependence, addiction, and over-reliance. For some, these medications have become more than just a temporary aid. They are a straight-up crutch. A once-weekly injection might start to feel like an easy out, a shortcut to avoid the real work of making sustainable lifestyle changes. And then there's the question of resistance. What happens when the body adapts to the medication, requiring higher and higher doses to see the same effect? Is there a point where these medications stop working? What happens when they are discontinued? Does the weight come right back? Do they need to be used indefinitely? What kind of weight is being lost? Is it just fat? Or is it lean tissue and bone mineral density as well? Are they safe to use in children? Ozempic is indicated for use in children as young as 12. What kind of precedents are we setting by putting a not yet fully formed human on a once-weekly pharma-manufactured injection to better control their weight and blood sugar? Will they be on this for life? Remember, the GLP-1s are like stepping on the gas pedal of your metabolism, a little harder than your body would do naturally. Like speeding up to pass a car on the highway, if you will. What does one's metabolism look like in 50 years if their gas pedal has been pressed to the metal for decades? Who pays for this? The GLP-1s cost roughly $1,000 a month. The United States spending on GLP-1s is already in the billions each year. Pharma isn't complaining, but someone needs to foot the bill for this. Is it you? Your insurance company? The government? These are questions we don't necessarily yet have answers to, but they're worth considering as we watch this exponential rise in the use of GLP-1 agonists for weight loss. I would argue that there is clear evidence of good here, but also clear evidence of carelessness and risk. As a physician, I pride myself in being a responsible prescriber. Do we use GLP-1s in our practice? Yes, we most certainly do. But we monitor patients closely. They need labs. They need regular weight and blood pressure checks. They need yearly body composition and bone density scans. For every responsible prescriber, there are countless reckless ones. You can buy Ozempic on the internet, prescribed by someone you've never met and won't ever need to see in person. That doctor doesn't make money from you using GLP-1 for a period of time while you change your diet and lifestyle. He only makes money when you call back for a refill of your Ozempic. Metabolic syndrome underlies what we refer to in medicine as the four horsemen, the precursor, if you will, to diabetes, cancer, heart disease, and dementia. These horsemen constitute the four main causes of death. You don't ever want to meet any of them. If we have a tool, even one that carries some known and unknown risk, that risk needs to be weighed against the absolute known risks of these four devastating chronic diseases? Answering these questions and more requires a truly nuanced discussion between patient and provider. Here's some patient questions about GLP-1s. Question: I've heard that if you do not have diabetes and take this medication, that it will affect your stomach lining, and some can no longer eat food because of this. Is this accurate? Answer: GLP-1s work the same way in diabetics as they do in non-diabetics. In rare cases, individuals may experience more serious gastrointestinal complications, such as gastroparesis, a condition where the stomach cannot empty food properly, which could make eating solid foods more challenging. However, this is uncommon and reversible once the medication is stopped or the dose is adjusted. If a patient is using GLP-1 agonists and experiences severe or prolonged gastrointestinal symptoms, it is important for them to consult with their healthcare provider. The dose may need to be adjusted, or alternative treatments can be explored. However, the idea that GLP-1 agonists permanently damage the lining of the stomach or make it impossible to eat food is probably inaccurate for most. Question: Can a person become resistant to the effects of GLP-1? What should you do if it stops working for you? Answer: We don't know for sure, but I suspect that development of drug resistance is more likely than not. Drug resistance happens with a lot of medications, a phenomenon called tachyphylaxis. For example, many people with chronic medical conditions like hypertension end up needing escalating doses of medication to maintain good control of their blood pressure if all other variables remain equal. Question: What can people use if they can't afford a GLP-1? What is more natural? Answer: There are several natural ways to boost GLP-1. Consuming fiber-rich foods, healthy fats like extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil, and eating clean protein. Intermittent fasting, regular exercise, supporting gut health with pre- and probiotics. Supplements like berberine and curcumin also show promise for naturally enhancing GLP-1 production. There is also a product called CaloCurb, which was developed by a team of scientists in New Zealand. It is a hops extract that reportedly increases endogenous or natural GLP-1 production. We've been using it in our practice for about a year now with good results. Question: Is it true that you have to continue GLP-1s for the rest of your life or you will gain everything back? Answer: The idea that someone must stay on a GLP-1 agonist for life isn't universally true, but weight gain is a possibility if the medication is stopped without addressing the underlying lifestyle factors that contribute to obesity and metabolic dysfunction. It is important to think of GLP-1 agonists as a part of a larger strategy that includes diet, exercise, and behavioral changes for long-term success. Anecdotally, we probably have an equal number of patients who have used GLP-1s for a period of time with and without regaining their weight. I strongly suspect that that is related to whether or not they made the necessary lifestyle changes on the back end. Question: Short and long-term side effects. Answer: I think I mostly answered that question above. Mostly GI side effects in the short term. Long term, well, we just don't know when it comes to using these medications for weight loss. For diabetic management, the GLP-1s appear to be largely safe and have more good side effects than bad. Having said that, there are currently 117 different lawsuits currently in process against Novo Nordisk, the maker of Ozempic, claiming that Ozempic can cause severe gastrointestinal issues, intestinal blockages, vision loss, and death. None of these claims have been settled at the time of this writing, so there's that. The true solution: a hard pill to swallow. As powerful as the GLP-1 agonists are, they aren't a cure. They can be a helpful tool, yes, a jumpstart for weight loss, a way to get metabolic health back on track. But they won't fix the underlying issues that got us here in the first place: sick, fat, and inflamed. Obesity, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, these are manifestations of a diseased lifestyle. They come from poor diet, lack of exercise, chronic stress, and inadequate sleep. GLP-1 agonists can help, but they won't change the food you put in your mouth, the time you spend on the couch, or the toll stress takes on your body. The truth is, there is no easy button for metabolic health, no quick fix. Our children need to be taught this early, and I can tell you they are not. The solution is not to chase your Diet Coke and potato chips with your shot of Ozempic. The real fix is lifestyle change. In learning how to nourish your body with real whole foods, daily exercise, reducing stress, and improving sleep. This is the only real path to making you truly healthy. So while GLP-1 agonists might be part of the solution, they are certainly not the whole story. True wellness isn't something made by pharma injected into your body every Sunday. It's something you have to live day by day, choice by choice. There's only one person who can make those hard changes, and that person is you. As a population of people all affected by the poisons that got us here, I encourage you to do everything you can to fight back. Stop buying foods you can't pronounce the ingredients of. Stop drinking unfiltered water. Stop doom scrolling on your phone morning, noon, and night. Plant a garden. Get your ass outside. Teach your children the value of being self reliant and self sustainable. We're not getting any younger. It's their generation that will be taking care of us when we need help. And I don't know about you, but Ensure had better be banned by then. If we stop buying crap, the makers of crap go out of business. The real revolution in the fight against obesity and chronic disease won't come from pharmaceuticals alone or top down policies. It will come from us, a grassroots movement driven by personal accountability and collective action. True, lasting change requires us to reimagine how we treat our bodies, opting for real whole foods over processed chemicals and packaged junk. It's about taking back control of our health by making conscious choices every day. If you want to reduce your reliance on doctors and medications, start by transforming your diet and lifestyle. The power to heal doesn't come from a pill, it comes from within. If you're interested in learning more about GLP-1s or finding out if they are a good choice for you, please call our office to schedule a consultation. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you for the next one. Take care.